we are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Sales Talk with Dwayne Marino. Dwayne, welcome to the show.
Hey, Camden. Thanks very much. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. This is our very first live stream, so this is pretty exciting.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I just pulled over in a parking lot for you, so hopefully I'll be okay for a few minutes.
So before we briefly get started, you kind of want to tell me what you're up to today and where you're headed?
I finished writing a training manual for a course I've got coming up next little while, doing some errands. Everything's closed here for Remembrance Day, which is great. So I'm off to Toronto here shortly, and I think I'm going to test drive a couple of vehicles. I'm one of those weird people that generally buys a car without driving it, but I've got an hour to kill. There's a couple of dealerships that are clients close by with what I'm considering going ahead with. I might not do anything. I don't know. But that's pretty much it. I'll be on the road in a couple hours.
Awesome. So for some of you who don't know who Dwayne Marino is, he's a best-selling author. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you guys probably have a good sense of who he is. But I'm just going to sit here and talk to him for a few minutes, ask him some questions, and he's going to help you guys out with some of your sales needs, entrepreneur concerns. And so Dwayne, I got two questions I want to ask, and I know you don't have a lot of time, so we'll just fire at it right now.
Okay.
The first question is, can you explain your mindset and attitude when you first started down this path of sales and entrepreneurship, and how it has evolved over time?
Okay, I talk about this quite a bit. I went to my first training course when I was about 23, and it absolutely changed my life. I had worked at a dealership before that, and I was on this train the trainer workshop almost a month long in Birmingham. I had no idea it was a sales process or that even things like that could be taught. Where I worked, poor management, it wasn't a well-run place. The top person, now I know, was not even barely average, but he was my blueprint for what I thought outstanding was. And I found myself in this workshop, and it was a game changer for me. It was the right message from the right messenger at the right time in my life. And I just remember turning to a friend of mine that now owns a couple of dealerships on the East Coast. He actually reminded me of this conversation a couple of years ago. We were in San Francisco when I was doing a talk at a convention. He came out for dinner with my son and his son. And I looked at him and I said, there's a process to this. I said, I can learn this. And I saw it as when I first got my first training, not just a way to be more successful, a way to be more independent. So I realized I wouldn't have to rely on lousy bosses anymore. I could build my skill set to the level that I wanted to. And from there, I was also going, at that time in my life, my early and mid-20s, through a whole bunch of stuff. I won't get through the details. It's a long story. It's all written about in my books. And I saw training and consulting and speaking as a way of becoming independent and getting better at my skill set through learning that. It turned me around financially and psychologically, not quite overnight, but pretty much. And I became addicted to change and to helping other people. So I always walk the talk. I'm always my first guinea pig. And, it was such a game changer for me so rapidly. I really just, still to this day, I don't want to call it paying it forward or paying it back, but I always recall that. And I know when I walk in a room of 5 people or 500 people, I only need one person in there that I can affect, a big change with. And it really is a combination of message, messenger, and timing for people. And it still inspires me today as far as how I was turned around, but that's how I got into it. Training to me and speaking to me was a way of traveling. I needed to travel. I was going through a whole bunch of stuff personally, and I just saw the travel as a way of escaping my situation and the life that I was in at that time. And it just started to work for me and heal me from the inside out. And I still love what I do. I'm blessed.
I think that's pretty awesome. I've heard a lot of salespeople, especially, talk about how when one of the main reasons they got into sales was just like you kind of sign your own paycheck. And
totally.
Chapter on time, so I do want to go to the next question. You had written a book called Unstoppable Money, and it's a book about making money and managing money. And it's a very short read for anyone who does want to read it. It is on Amazon. And I know that I've had this problem personally, and most people that I speak to do. And what are some of the mistakes you see businesses making when it comes to managing their money and their spending habits, especially for people who are in the startup phase?
Okay. In the startup phase, you've got probably a limited, I would imagine, limited product offering, or it's not ironed out the way that it should be. You probably don't have a lot of customers, and your focus should be a marketing company. You own a marketing company. So I often see myself that I own a marketing company that happens to do consulting and speaking, primarily to automotive car dealers, but not totally. And if you take that approach that you have a marketing company that happens to sell whatever you're selling, that's the first key. So a lot of people just don't invest enough in that. I look at social media and it's great. You know, you've really got to be adept and you have to know what you're doing there. If you're targeting to an industry or a type of person, don't overlook, you know, making phone calls and face-to-face and mailers and faxes if you have to, and emails. It's not always what's new or what's old school, but you've got to do all of it. You have to have a multi-pronged approach to marketing. You can't do too much of it, and you don't want to spend yourself out of existence. So some people focus on really, you know, high-end expensive marketing. Well, if you don't have the cash flow or the assets to do that, you're not going to last very long, which takes me to the next piece. You know, you got to look at your ROI and your biggest return on investment. Two things you have to continue to invest in. One is marketing, and the other one is yourself. You are your asset. The only difference with your company versus somebody else's are the people that run it. Probably your product is not unique. If it is unique, somebody's going to copy you pretty soon anyways, as soon as you do well. So keep investing in yourself, which means, you know, reading, taking training courses, reading books. You are your competitive advantage. So if you know, invest in yourself and you invest in marketing, that's the two biggest things. And the other thing I got to warn you about is live beneath your means. Be careful what you do with your money, especially initially. A lot of people like to posture and pose. Again, that's all over the internet. Nobody wants to be an overnight success and a wannabe coach, and a lot of people have never done it. You know, if you fucking swear and do all this shit on social media and wear a wool hat, I hate to mention any names, and get up on a stage and just tell everybody off, all of a sudden now you're cool and people are going to listen to you. Well, you know, maybe you made your business doing something other than social media to some of these social media experts, and now you've just got the money or the capital to say whatever you want in front of a microphone. But I caution people to, you know, learn responsibly and be smart and be careful with what you do, because your time and your money are limited. Those are limited resources, and you got to be very careful with where you put them.
Very, very great answer. And one of the things you said in the last question that kind of related to what you said at the end there, with you are your first guinea pig, and you know we see it a lot with the whole Instagram culture of people and what you're saying about posturing, people posing with cash and things
Yep.
like that, or trying to teach people to do things that they haven't done before. They read an ebook, they take a course, and then they just rip that guy's stuff off. You kind of reword the information, package it, and then try to resell it. And you see that a lot. Me personally, I'm looking for a more unique way to run my business and try to make more money through it. But that's something like yourself. That's something I'm not willing to conform to the whole. You know, like I swear and stuff at times, and that's kind of more my personality. I am a little bit more careful. Like I'm, you know, like I usually don't say anything too as far as with my language and stuff goes. But if I do swear, it's usually just like one or two words that have slipped out of like a moment of passion. But you know, I saw it even with the unfortunately with the Anthony Robbins documentary. And he apparently turned off a lot of people. He was swearing to kind of get that shock value, and people kind of. But you know, I had spoken to a few people, and they were like, I showed it to my mom. Loves Anthony Robbins, and I showed it to her, and she kind of was turned off by it because I've seen a lot of this stuff, and from what I've seen, he doesn't curse like that.
Yeah, there was a recent talk. Actually, you sent me a link, Camden, by Gary V. And I'm not knocking anybody. I like Gary. I like Tony. I've met Tony many times, and I have nothing against swearing if it's in the right context. But just to do it, to be cool, or I don't know. And same with, you know, right now it's my day off. So if you take a look what I'm wearing, yeah, you know, I'm bumming around. Everybody can dress any way that they want. But anyways, there's a lot of people that just want to be a, you know, social media hero, and it's hard to discern who those people are. And the other side of it, if we're going to continue on with this, is I would suggest a lot of the people that I do see on social media didn't make their money on social media. They made it someplace else, and they're making it someplace else. And they sort of give people the illusion, I hate to say it, that the social media thing is, you know, is the be all end all. And obviously we're using it right now. I'm not anti-social media. I'm pro work. So what you got to do, get in your car, get in the bus, get in the street, go face to face. You cannot be face to face presentations. Pick up the phone. You still need to connect with individuals, and you know, there's a lot to marketing, and it's a lot more than just sometimes posting Instagram pictures. Although that can be very successful. I'm not knocking it, or the people that do it, or any of the people I mentioned. I'm just having a conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I still go door to door, talking to people,
Yeah.
and just trying to, because the whole face to face there, like a lot of people are trying to just stay online, and it's such, people don't realize it's such an advantage to go door to door or pick up that phone and do cold calls sometimes. And sales
Yeah.
is a very, like, you teach it, you've made an awesome living off of it and an awesome lifestyle. But you know, if you don't have that sales skill, that's why I love talking to you. Like, I learned so much from you, and if people don't realize, if they don't have that sales skill, even if you manage to get someone on the phone with you from an Instagram pic to talk to you,
Yeah.
to sell your service, if you can't close, you're done.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. There's that's a whole other conversation. There's no end to selling skills in different situations, and to be able to do it is it's a science and it's an art. We talked about that before too. So
Awesome. Well, we'll save that for another episode. But Dwayne, enjoy your test drive, and I look very forward to speaking to you in the near future.
adios, amigos. We'll
Have a
see you
great
later.
day.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.